Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm making a fish pie. First thing you need for a fish pie is fish. 3 different types. This is salmon. All of these have their skin on, so that's salmon. On the right is cod with the skin on, and the top one is a smoked haddock, an undyed smoked haddock. Sometimes if you see it bright yellow, that's dyed. The one we're using is undyed. Feel them with your fingers. Any big sharp bones are going to stick out like a sore thumb, so use a pair of tweezers and just pull out any of the bigger bones. Later on, once we've cooked this, you'll see as we flake off the meat, any other bones will come out at that stage, so don't worry too much if there are really small bones. You think, do I need to pick out every single one of these? No, you do not. So in your biggest pan, first thing we're going to do is cook the fish and infuse the milk with fish flavour. And this milk is going to go into a roux shortly. So we take our whole milk and we just add the fish fillets to the milk. And now we're going to poach these to cook them, which means turning up the heat to around about medium. In there, of course, we've added some bay leaves, peppercorns, and we cook these for around about 20 minutes. Just until you'll see that they start to just fall apart, but they stay a nice big chunky piece of fish, but the skin will kind of flake off a little bit, and then that's us done. We don't want to overcook it. And of course that milk is going to be massively infused with fish flavour. Just strain it off, use a colander. Made a bit of a mess there, but don't worry. So now we're left with a infused milk, and now all I'm going to do, just by take your time here, you're going to take off the skin. The skin should fall off all of the fillets, and now just take the meat from the colander and break it with your thumbs into a bowl. And this is where any bones will almost jump out at you. It's really, really easy to avoid bones. You don't want to kind of blend it up. You want to keep it as big, fat, chunky pieces of fish like that, but that's beautifully cooked fish. And now what we're going to do is make an amazing sauce based around a roux. We've done roux previously in this video, so the first thing to do is to melt butter. All the quantities will be down in the description, of course, below. So we're just going to melt that butter in a pan. And we're going to add flour up until the point where it forms a roux ball, which is like Play-Doh. We're just going to add it bit by bit. You don't need to whisk this, you just need to stir this in. I use this kind of spatula tool. And by adding it slowly and continually mixing it, it gets rid of any lumps that could potentially form. So it makes sure that the sauce that you end up with at the end is really beautiful and smooth. So we're just going to keep adding it bit by bit so it all starts to form and come together as one. You see now it's coming together really nicely, and it's got that really, really smooth shine to it, like a bowl of Play-Doh almost. It's all come together, all the edges have been scraped away, it's shiny, it's smooth, and we're getting to a beautiful roux ball there, just like that. So now we add the milk. Now this is the milk that's been infused with obviously the fish that was poached in it. If we just added normal milk to it, in fact milk that had bay leaves and peppercorns, what you'd be making here is a bechamel or a classic white sauce. We are just making a classic white sauce, but don't forget that milk, it really imparts all the flavour of the fish and it adds it to the sauce, and it just gives it a fishy taste in the best possible sense of the word. It's exactly what you want at this point. So we're just going to keep whisking that round, and we're going to add enough milk up until the point where we've got a sauce that is, well, coat the back of a spoon, as you say. When we say coat the back of a spoon, just put a metal spoon in there, run your finger down, you can see that's coating the back of a spoon. So that's a lovely sauce, just at the right consistency. Add some Martini if you've got it. You could even add a little splash of white wine there. You can add anything here at your taste, but this is the classic old-fashioned way is just add a little splash of vermouth or martini, which I always do. I've transferred this just to a bigger pan here because it was almost overflowing out the other saucepan, and we're going to add other ingredients to it. So we're just going to put our white sauce, our classic white sauce, into a slightly bigger pan. It was thickening up a bit there, so we added a bit more milk. Keep some of that milk to one side. And one of the ingredients we're going to add is spinach. So this is the way that we always wilt our spinach. So just a couple of massive handfuls of spinach into a colander and pour over 2 kettles full of water. It can be the same kettle filled twice, obviously. You don't need 2 kettles. There we go. And just by pouring that over there, you'll see how it absolutely reduces. The little tiny acid edge to spinach is all gone. Once that's cooled enough to handle, put it inside a tea towel. This is the way I do it. This is the way I get rid of all the moisture, and just tighten that over a sink over and over again until all the water just comes out of it, and you end up with a bowl of cooked spinach. Slice down into it first one way, and then the other way. I never used to do this, and you'd end up with massive spinach leaves and, you know, embarrassment as they're stuck between your teeth. So by doing that, you end up with nice fine pieces of spinach, and it just works so much better. So to that beautiful fishy bechamel, we're now going to add the actual flesh from all the fish, which has just been lovely and poached, so it's still beautiful and soft, but it stayed together in nice big chunks. I mean, that on its own with a nice haunch of bread, you'd be laughing there, but we're going to make it even better. So we're adding the spinach. And some chives. So we always hold chives as a tight bunch like that and just chop into them with scissors. You can add anything to a fish pie. Some of the other classic components people often add is peas or chopped boiled eggs, or you can make it super fancy and make it an admiral's pie, which I think is just a hilarious name, by adding prawns and lobster and all the rest of it. But let's just keep this very, very simple, very, very classic. Taste it. You're tasting it for seasoning. What does it need? So we're just going to add some black pepper, some white pepper. Didn't need any salt. That will be because obviously there's fish in there, so it's already going to have an element of salt to it. Test it again. What does it need? Nothing. Perfect. The pie cases. These are the worst pie cases you could use for a fish pie. They're perfect pie cases, of course, when you're adding a crust to something, because they've got like that rim around the outside. But for a fish pie, ideally, you'd probably just want something that went straight up at the edges. I'll show you why at the end. I mean, don't worry at all. This still tastes absolutely fantastic. And you know, on this channel, it's not about making the prettiest thing in the world. It's about making it delicious. We're going to do a mashed potato top. So the first thing you do for mashed potatoes is get some general all-rounder potatoes and give them a peel. Chop them up into chunks, which is just going to make them cook a little bit quicker when we boil them in preparation for the mash. So you get them in nice even sized chunks like that. Into a pan of salted water that's on a medium heat. Put our potato pieces. And we're going to cook them for around about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, until they start to break apart like this. I don't have a potato ricer, so in order to make really, really smooth mash, I have to boil mine a little bit further. So just boil them until they're lovely and soft, or will break apart with just a simple touch of a wooden spoon. Add in a couple of nice large knobs of butter, and now just give them a good mashing. Whilst I'm mashing this, I will ask you, if you like my videos and you're not subscribed, if you click subscribe down at the bottom, it doesn't cost you anything, but you'll see when I get new videos come out. It really helps me, so if you would like and subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. If you don't like my videos or don't want to subscribe, again, that's no problem at all. To that now, we're going to add some grated cheese, or some grated cheddar cheese. And now, because that mash is really lovely and hot and the cheese was grated on a fine setting, all we'll need to do, we don't need to keep remashing that in, we just need to mix it round, and the cheese is going to melt and incorporate into that mash. So just give it a really, really good mix round, make sure everything's mixed together, and that's an absolutely gorgeous, simple, cheesy mash. Into a piping bag. So when using a piping bag, you snip off one end. These piping bags come in rolls of like 1,000 as well, so if you ever see a roll of them, just get them, stick them in a drawer. I used to use plastic bags for this for years. A metal nozzle with like the rose-shaped end. You put the nozzle in before you put the mash or whatever it is you're piping in, so there's a little top tip for you. I learned that the hard way. In goes your mashed potato. Push it down to the edge and you'll see that it just, there we go. Now we're ready to pipe. So we take one of the pies and just, you know, I'm not the best at this. You can make this look really pretty, but what I would say is just pipe up like this, cover the whole top of the fish pie. And when it's cooked, it looks really, really nice. So what I was saying before, you see that pie dish has got the lip around the outside, the white bit, whereas if we were putting a crust on it, that'd be nice to stick to it. Ideally, if the pie dish just went up, so when it was finished, now there was no white rim around the outside, that's what you'd want when you're making a fish pie, really. You know, whatever. Super simple way to serve this. We're just going to use some green beans, of which we just chop off the tip and stick them in some boiling salt water. 3 minutes, make them nice and crunchy. Straight out, you put them in a colander, then back into the pan, which is hot, with a tiny bit of butter, some salt and pepper. Just give that a little mix round, and there's the simplest ever greens. Really, this pie speaks for itself. There's so many flavours in there and everything, but just when you're plating it up, you want some other colour in there. There it is out of the oven. You see how the way we've done the potato mash on top, the way the piping's done, it's got that beautiful crust, but you can also see around the rim where it's kind of like overflowed. You wouldn't have that if your pie dish just went straight up, but I'll stop banging on about that now. Serve it. Nice to serve these individually so that that pie top stays absolutely beautiful. It's quite difficult to serve them on a plate like I'm doing, but got to do it for the thumbnail, haven't I? On the plate there with some lovely green beans just to offset it, and a nice chilled glass of Prosecco that we got a beautiful bottle for Christmas, so why not? And that is a fish pie. Very, very simple, very straightforward, absolutely delicious. Those people who say, oh, I don't like fish, give them this, and it's a perfect introduction, I think, to fish, because you get all those beautiful flavours with that beautiful, cheesy, creamy mashed top. I really hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.